On behalf of you all, I welcome Ms. Asna Nafees, Principal of DPS-MIS Doha, for going to give a wonderful session for us, nurturing a growth mindset amongst educators. So before we start the session, I want you all to know about ma'am more a lot. Okay. Ms. Asna Nafees is a postgraduate in zoology with a professional degree in education. She started her career as a teacher of English and biology in 1998 and rose to the position of academic supervisor in 2004 at TVS School, Tamil Nadu. Between 2006 and 2010, Ms. Nafees served as a principal Crescent Girls Residential School, Tamil Nadu. A young achiever, she achieved this distinction at the age of 35. She was successful in pioneering change in schools' curricular and co-curricular programs. She had the distinction of being selected to travel to Brazil as a member of International Group's Study Exchange Program under the aegis of Rotary Club. September 2010 brought Ms. Nafees to the shores of DPS-MIS Doha-Qatar. Effective May 2011, she has served as the principal of the school and has helped in bettering the best. The school has been certified with ISO certification and has received the accreditation from the Ministry of Education, Doha, Qatar. Ms. Nafees has taken part in various panel discussions, especially on inclusion. She has won the Award of Excellence as the principal of DPS-MIS School for producing excellent results in grade 10 and 12 board exams for 6 consecutive years. She has received the letters of appreciation from CBSE and HRD Ministry of India for encouraging inclusion in schools. One of our students was the topper in special needs category of CBSE grade 12 board exam held in the year 2014. She has attended and conducted several professional teaching programs on leadership and communication, career guidance, value education, and counseling, etc. She is passionate about inclusion and understands that respecting and promoting diversity is one of the major roles of leadership in today's world. So on behalf of EKIS staff and management, ma'am, we welcome you and we're really very happy to see that you're going to give a wonderful session for us. Thank you so much, ma'am. Over to you.
Thank you, Ms. Priya, and very good afternoon to Ms. Priya and the entire team of Khor International School. And a big salute to all teachers during this extremely challenging times. You have stood together and have never left the true role of a teacher in reaching out to your students, whether it was during the COVID time, post-COVID time, reopening time. We can see that each one of you has been a real soldier and you deserve our salutes. Many congratulations on being a teacher and especially being a teacher at these very difficult times. So when Ms. Priya mentioned to me that she would like that I address the teachers of Khor International School with due respect and regard that each one of you is doing a wonderful job, and that we really just that once in a while getting to hear from others helps to understand that yes, we are on the right path, we are doing a great job, and that we can improve on it. Most workshops that we do or the webinars that we attend at least make us feel good that we are on the right path. My talk today would be harboring or hovering around two topics. One, why educators require a growth mindset. What is a growth mindset? Why do we require it? And how happiness of an individual is directly proportionate to the amount of productivity or the amount of quality that we would probably expect as results at the end of the day. So what is a growth mindset? you could just reply if you feel like in the chat what growth mindset according to you is. And why is it very important that as educators who have been probably bestowed with the biggest gift of mankind, that is children, into our care, why do I need a growth mindset? Because when I become a teacher, I probably get into the zone of believing that I know it all, I don't need to grow anymore. I'm kind of aware of what I am doing. I just don't want to get into another new zone and start learning new things. So does it really matter that you have a growth mindset? On this, I would just like to share a small anecdote why a good growth mindset is important. Like, usually we hear about the placebo effect. Doctors, when they start treating, they maybe post-operative, especially during huge surgeries like the thoracic surgeries, where there's a lot of invasive activity happening. When the patient sees that he's been numbed with some drugs, the impact of the drug is greater because the mind has already observed that this is happening to me, and this has made me, is going to affect me, it's going to affect my mind, I'm going to feel no pain. Whereas when it is put into IVs and they have not been informed, the impact is very slow. I'm not speaking this from my own knowledge. These are facts and figures that come out from medical universities, and they are backed with Harvard studies, that when your mind is kind of aware that there is something better, something good happening, a mindset is so required. Because if you're going to have a fixed mindset, nothing is going to change, nothing is going to happen, then it is really going to be very, very difficult. Why growth mindset is so important, especially for educators, because educators are impacting the lives of millions of children, and at times we stop growing. We start believing, I know it all, I don't need to be learning any further, I don't need to change anything else. The same 2001 or 2002 notes will continue into 2012, then carry on till 2020, and maybe proceed till 22. Till I'm a teacher, the same textbook, same notebook, same philosophy. I am not going to change because I have decided I have grown enough. I don't need to bring change into my life. So if you stop growing today, I think we should stop teaching tomorrow. I strongly believe that if I have decided that I have reached my potential, it's better I stop teaching children. Because if you look at young children, they come from a different background, the background that we do not belong to. They are learning on a different wavelength. We are teaching at a different wavelength. So many a times we realize that what are the good qualities of a teacher? Many a times in the staff rooms, maybe you would have been discussing that what did this new supervisor think? What does this new coordinator tell us, or the HOD tell us that, we can do this in this way or that way. I have always done this way. I've always got results this way. I've always been comfortable using this technology. I don't want to switch to something else. It's not easy for me. I'm fine the way it's going, and my children are able to understand. So why should I try something new? If we do not try something new, we will never know where it is going to impact and how well it is going to impact. For example, the COVID-19 situation. We never knew that we could probably start a parallel platform online and still continue teaching, and continue teaching properly. Not that, we have missed out on anything or curriculum. Had we not had the growth mindset, I don't think we would be able to transform so quickly, accept change, adapt to change. So adapting to change becomes very important for a teacher, because at the end of the day, she is impacting so many lives. If you're a great, smart teacher who wants to, improve every single day, you need to have this attitude, this great attitude that I may know the world, but still I have not arrived where I should arrive. I have not reached the best. The best is yet to come. And when we continue believing that the best is yet to come, we will put in that type of effort to improve on our current standards, and we will definitely help in, reevaluating, reflecting. How many of us actually give time to ourselves? I would like a response of a yes or no. Do I go back home and reflect on the day? What is it I did right? What is it that I need to improve on? What are probably my behavior, my values, my habits that I need to retain, need refinement, need rejection? We hardly ever give ourselves any reflection time. We go home and start off again with a new rigmarole because we are obviously multitasking, doing 10 other things. So do we as teachers go back home? I would strongly request that teachers go back home and reflect. How did I spend my day today? What were the things I did right? Where can I improve? Where can I bring in more value add to the work that I have done? What are the things that I should completely remove from my habit formation? I would like yes or no answers on this in your chat box. Please do reply saying that, yes, ma'am, I go home, I reflect on whether I improved, I need improvement, I have done something good. I reflect on my time that I spent with my students because every minute is valuable. I often say that never calculate your time as the periods, the number of periods that you have gone. Maybe you went for a 45 minutes period, but you had about 30 children into 45 minutes time. Look at the quality man hours that you are utilizing. You can impact, you can bring change. Always look at time as the man hours that you have spent with young children. It's never, how good you are. It is about how good you want to be. That sort of a mindset is something that is very, very important. Always look at yourself. Have I arrived? Am I good enough? Can I improve? And I'm sure there will not be a single day when you go back and think, I could have done this a little better. I could have given a little more time. I could have been more polite with the child. Probably I could have taught this topic in a different way. Probably I could have done better remedial action with a bright child or with a middle level child or with a weak child. Did I give enough importance to individualized learning for an inclusive education child? Did I do justice to the role that I have been assigned to? This is so important because when you continue to improve on yourself, you are impacting those many lives, bringing those many smiles on learners who would probably look at you and say, she is or he is always in the forefront trying to learn new things. Why shouldn't I as a student do it? We always believe that, I was assigned this timetable, I went into the class, I finished teaching. Many of us, I wouldn't generalize it, but many of us feel, I have completed my duty. I did my teaching. But did the learner learn what he should or she should have learned and how well? The judgment is never on how well you teach in the class. How well is that absorbed by the learner in the class? That is where the judgment happens. So always view it in a flipped way. You always look at the learner and see, oh, right, the child has understood, has not understood, is able to get results. And we are in a system where marks do matter. Let's put all the other stories beside. As individuals, yes, we would love that, we impart greater skills, life skills, this, that. But at the end of the day, in a CBSE system, with due respect and regard, of course, yes, the NEP, till it gets into action and the new education policy comes into, implementation and it gets implemented the right way, till then marks are very important. Let's accept this fact that you will be tested at the end of the day by that one result that you get, and your name is against that student. Oh, this child got because this so-and-so teacher taught the class. So at the end of the day, marks do matter. We do keep telling it's not important, but in the CBSE system, still there is due diligence and due importance given. So the way people learn should always be the way that you teach. Not that I enter a class with a set standard of learning tools that I have prepared, teaching learning tools I have prepared, and I'm just fixed to it because I have prepared myself like this. Whether my children understand, don't understand, it's immaterial. So in today's world, you have thousands of new ways of reaching out. I don't know how many of you have used innumerable technology during this 3 to 4 months. All things that you probably had never heard of. Kahoot, Quizlets, I don't know, Google Meets, so many new ways. They were almost non-existent to us a few months before. So we are pushed against the wall and only then we take action. We won't explore by ourselves because we are too tied up with our concept of, I'm anyhow teaching. It's okay with me. If children understand, they don't understand. That attitude will not help. Now, each person as a teacher, I'm sure comes from a background where you understand with due respect that their role is so, so important to building up societies, building up nations, that it's important that when I am in a system, I'm not an individual. I'm always a member in the team. And your team, it looks like, has 100 members. So as the head, Ms. Priya has 100 people to deal with, 100 personality types, 100 teaching styles, and many more sub characteristics of individuals. So it's very important that, one, you reflect by yourself as to what can be improved. Two, always go in for taking feedback to grow. There is nothing wrong in getting feedback. I know that in Alcor school there is a lot of feedback system, but how the feedback is taken, how it is given, does matter. Many a times we are so busy finding fault with a person that we forget that the person was inside the classroom doing the actual role. There was certain things only that probably required improvement. So when you seek feedback, it should be from maybe your co-teachers, your immediate coordinators, your key functionaries of the school, but always in a friendly manner. You could always be open to, getting results by focusing on areas of concern that probably somebody has pointed out. Because as a teacher, you are standing there teaching, you're probably thinking, I've done everything right. But there's always scope for growth. There's always scope for improvement, because the person on the other side of the table is viewing it from a very different angle. The 360 degrees perspective is so important. Your learner should give you positive feedback. Your immediate colleagues, your coordinators, your key functionaries should be able to tell you what is right for you. And remember that there is nothing wrong that you're doing. It's just that you could probably do it in a better way. There can't be a complete wrong way of operating. If you have been appointed by a team of educators into a school, you probably know the basics of teaching. All that we require is a little refinement. So when you're in staff rooms, I would say, especially to the key functionaries and the coordinators, head of departments, please encourage a growth mindset in your teachers. Help them to understand that there is a better way of working. There could always be a newer way of working. Maybe an ex-teacher, a peer is teaching the concept in a better way, or they have a better idea of reaching out and doing remediation. There is nothing wrong in learning from each other. Collaboration in today's world is the key word. If we do not collaborate and want to be islands by ourselves, we will never grow. How many of us as teachers ever ask this question, even as key functionaries, as vice principals, principals? How often do we ask our teachers, what is the last book that you read? We somehow do not have time for reading at all. We somehow do not find time for ourselves to grow. It's not just the physics, chemistry, history, geography, economics that I'm teaching that is important. If I need to connect with my children, I need to connect by other means. I should read the latest books. How many of you have probably read something in these last 3-4 months? Please do reply with the title of the book that you have read. The last book that I have read is Inheritance of Loss. It is a Booker Prize winner book, and it was an eye-opener. It was on something that I would have probably read in the newspapers as a child, but never followed up after that. That was the Gorkha land agitation, and also it followed about how life could be so cruel. You build up hope, and at the moment when you're entering your house, you lose hope. Finally, after the trajectory of going to the US, earning, saving, and then finally deciding to come back, he loses his money when he comes back to his hometown on the very street where he is. He's looted by the Gorkha land agitators. So suddenly you realize that such books probably also teach you life skills, also give you a reason to connect and speak with your students, plus an entire building up of knowledge on various other subjects. Children respect you for that. If you go back to your childhood and remember, the teachers who you remember as role models are people who probably always thought, I want to proceed, I want to learn further, I want to gain some more knowledge, was a good reader, was participating, and was an example of probably, a growth mindset where you would see the teacher into so many other things other than the role assigned. Yes, I'm a physics teacher, I'm a biology teacher. Beyond that, what have I done? I remember we were invited once by our principal when I was a teacher. I was a mere teacher in those days as biology and English teacher. And he said, teachers, I'm thinking we should start storytelling sessions in our school for the primary school. which I thought was a brilliant idea. Good way of teaching English. Why teach only from the textbooks? He said, who would opt? And I remember I'd raised my hand saying that I would opt for it. And I went into the kindergarten classes, KG1, KG2, grade 1 and grade 2. And I learned a whole new way of operating. Because when you come from a middle school, a high school, high secondary school background, you're only used to dealing with those high schoolers and never know how important it is to nurture the young ones. As an educator, it is always good to opt for new things, new ideas. And how many of you have cursed your management or your immediate supervisory staff whenever a workshop happens and your name is there in the list? 100 reasons not to go for the workshop you'll find. But I would encourage, please go for the workshop. If not anything new, you will at least learn how not to conduct a workshop. If it is really bad, you come back with a positivity that, okay, this workshop could have been done in a better way. They could have reached out in a better way. The speaker could have, motivated us this way. So never feel sad when you're sent to professional development programs. Professional development programs, in a small way, even if it's a 0.1% learning, is a learning. You learn something new. And if after that learning, you're able to bring it to your school, you're able to implement it and get results, there is no happiness beyond that. You must try and do all these things. What is the effort that you are putting in after you have reflected in order to get the transformation or the change to happen? That effort is what is very, very important. Now, any consistent effort, I don't know how many, or if you have read this book, The Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. And the book says that when you practice repeatedly, even a layman after about almost 3 years, that's some numbers he gives you, those many years of practice makes you perfect. And if you have been a teacher for more than 3 years, you are a good teacher, you don't have to worry. But it doesn't mean you stop working then, that I know everything, I don't need to work. You need to put in that consistent effort to always improve that 0.1%, 0.1%. What is the difference between two people who are running a race? One wins it with a gold medal, one with a silver medal. And when you see the 100-meter dash, it is a few milliseconds that is the difference. That little effort consistent effort would probably bring that difference in the way you handle children, the way you teach your subject, or the way you reach out to your children. The harder you work, the better will be the results. So there is no respite for hard work. As any professional, just not a teacher, anywhere in the world, working hard, working smart is so important to get good results. And whatever you have achieved by putting a lot of hard work, you will really, really feel very happy after putting a lot of effort. The results are there. And it brings a cheer to you. No money in the world can buy that happiness. No money or no human can take away that happiness from you, because it is your effort that you have put in and you have experienced and achieved the result. So that result is something that is so personal in your personal space, and it is something that always will inspire you to do better. As colleagues in the staff room, we often we do find time to sit and chat. And we always say that, oh, I'm worried to do this. Maybe it will be a mistake. I'll be pointed out by somebody. I'll be pointed out for doing something wrong. We are so caught up with mistakes. And as an Indian education system, I often tell that one of the biggest flaws probably our system has is that we have never trained our children to fail. Never have we been trained to fail. It's all right to fail. Who has achieved everything in its first attempt? You try some lesson plan, probably doesn't work well for you. Change the lesson plan. There's nothing wrong. Yes, you will receive feedback from your supervisory staff, but that's not permanent. Once it changes to a better lesson plan, you will be invited to say, yes, you're doing a great job. So only look at mistakes as proof that you are trying and trying very hard to improve on yourself. Also that as human beings, we have this tendency mostly, a negative mindset. We are focusing on the problems. Now, as leaders, if we are to focus on what transformation has happened post-COVID, If we only looked at the problems, we probably would be where we are, with no improvement, no classes happening, salaries being cut down for teachers because no classes are happening. But we did not focus on the problems. We focused on the possibilities, the opportunities. And will I get a response? I would like you all to respond that, do you think that these 4 months were a learning opportunity for you? If yes, please write yes, and with a reason why you think it was a learning opportunity. What did you learn in these 4 months? Because it was a huge problem, but we did not focus on the problem. We focused on the opportunity. And this opportunity has opened up a whole new world for us. Post-COVID also, we will be continuing to follow some things that we learned during this period. And if we suggested a few years before, or even a few months before that, let's go online, let's teach online, let's do remediation and PTMs online, people would have laughed at us. Today, they are encouraging, we get responses from parents, let PTM happen online, ma'am. So it's a huge learning opportunity for us, because this very difficult phase has taught us a new way of operating. So always look at problems along with the solution it brings. It's an opportunity in disguise. I shun it, I will never get that opportunity. I take it up, I pick up a new opportunity to grow, and probably I improve in the process. So always focus on the positive side of difficult situations. Nothing is permanent in the world. Neither today's result with your students, nor your teaching learning process. Results can always be improved on by consistent effort. How do we define success at the end of the day? Is success just for myself? Do I feel happy when I'm successful? Or do I get a lot of happiness? True success is when I am able to inspire. We are able to inspire others. And how are we able to inspire others? We are able to inspire others by being a learner ourselves, by constantly keeping an image that I'm learning yet, and I'm learning along with you. There's nothing wrong. How many of us as teachers go into the class and say, it's fine, you do not know, I do not know, we can learn it together. Whenever there is an issue, always say, we shall together overcome it, children. Don't get worried. Together, we will be able to reach there. Never make the problem individualized for the child. Always add yourself part of the issue. Always make it a team effort. The job becomes way easier. Children, learn this, learn this, learn this. Instead of that, you just use the word, change the terminology. Just say that we shall be doing this during the remediation class. We should be able to, overcome this obstacle. You'll be able to complete this much of learning. And by the end of this evening 5 question answers, you will definitely be able to learn. We'll sit together for it. The moment you say the word we, the burden is off the shoulder of the child. He also feels that my teacher is responsible in some way and is trying to help. Just the small change in the mindset will help you to achieve greater goals. So success is when you are able to inspire. Can you write in your chat box if there is somebody who inspired you by his success story and you wanted to reach there and become like that person? Or some of your student wrote to you after many years saying, you are my inspiration. I'm successful today because of you. And what was the type of, reaction to those little messages or mails? We have received those messages and it gives you immense happiness. It gives you a shot in the arm. It gives you a kick. You feel so proud. All this is on one side. How to improve a growth mindset, this, that. But unless you don't have a core personality type to, harbor that type of growth mindset. And that comes from knowing that there is something called as inner happiness. The world may be all going wrong. There may be people who are telling you you're not doing well. Your supervisory staff is probably telling you, your colleague is telling something not right about you. Let it not impact you. You as an individual remain happy. Some days you may have to find your own sunshine. Every day is not going to be a bright, happy day. Sometimes you just have to hold on and believe that you are there because of your own inner strength. Any workplace, I'm talking about teachers here in specific, but any workspace always finds greater productivity when the team is happy with each other, when the team is not busy pulling down each other. So are you a great team player? If yes, please do continue to be a good team player. A good team player helps build morale of another teacher. And they say many drops make an ocean. So each one of you is important in the total well-being of your school. Never think that after all I'm teaching art, how does it matter how I impact? After all I'm doing PE, or I'm doing maybe computers, I'm doing music, dance. What's my role in this whole thing? Whatever you do inside the classroom impacts the learning of a child. If the child goes out of a music room happy, it'll impact his or her learning of another core subject probably, and he will find his her passion and will improve. So your role as a team player is to motivate each other, be respectful to each other. Many a times we come across staff rooms where there's a lot of disrespect for some staff. Never ever become a person who is trying to be disrespectful to each other. Always encourage respectful behavior. Respectful behavior reinforces great morale in the team, and a good team always produces good results. Are you a role model? The world never is by just talking. I know Ms. Priya chose to call me to address you all. Probably she saw me as a person who is just not talking, but also lives with by example. So by empty talk, nothing is going to happen. You have to be a real role model. And for that, again, it is hard work, and more hard work. Unless you don't take action, nothing is going to change in your life. You have to be the role model that others would like to emulate. Life is better when you are laughing. I always say a happy school. Why a happy school? A happy school is not a school that provides you with the best salaries, the best working conditions, the best support system. A happy school is where people respect each other, love each other, care for each other. Happiness is something so, so important. Keep smiling because happiness inspires productivity. Again and again, I focus on the point that for teachers especially, many good teachers over the years that I have met, interacted with, they've always told that it is not the money that motivates. So always remember that, I'll again share this small anecdote that I faced, and I realized the value of, being happy, being truthful to your job, being dedicated without any observations from anybody else. I studied in a school, I'll give my own personal example. I studied in a school called St. Andrews, and we had a principal who was a Britisher, Mrs. Bennett, and we had an IMA who came from a very, very impoverished background, and I remember we called her Papa IMA. Many years later, I think almost 30 years later, after I left school, and due to the social media, we got into connection with our classmates. And when our batchmates met, we realized that we remember two people very distinctly. The principal herself and the IMA, the menial staff who rang the bell, who took care of us when we went to washrooms, provided us with water, kept the campus clean. Two people were remembered. And when I reflected on it, I realized that these two people made a big impact on our lives because they were role models. Whatever job was assigned to them, they did it with dignity, with respect, to the utmost dedication, with integrity. Two different roles essayed at the school, but remembered for the quality delivered. So it's not about post, position, money. The joy lies in being truthful to your work, being truthful to yourself, being creative in different ways, reaching out to different people. So it's so, so important that whatever role I may be playing, whatever post, position, whatever money I may be getting, it's immaterial. Am I doing justice to my students? Am I doing justice to the role given to me? Keep reflecting on these questions. It'll always help us to improve ourselves. This is again for each other in the staff room, for immediate supervisory staff like the head of the departments, for the supervisory staff, the academic supervisory staff, the headship. So, so important to have some space to appreciate each other. A pat on the back, a word of appreciation can bring in more results than probably a salary hike or probably, you know, an additional amount being paid. I'm not saying that money is not important. Money is important, but it is not the do all and end all of life. A word of appreciation can bring in, with love if it is given, with respect if it is given, can bring in more results, can make you work way more harder, and it can get you the best results. What probably you would not want to do on an off day because your boss appreciated you, a colleague appreciated you, a student appreciated you, you will do it on an off day also without being bothered about, oh, will I get overtime for this? Will I get paid for this? So appreciating, make it a habit within yourselves. We tend to forget how important appreciation is. When somebody walks in, we say, oh, you look happy today. Even that much is more than enough. Give them a smile, a happy smile. That's also appreciation. Appreciation need not be always a certificate or, you know, something in cash kind. It can be just a simple smile, a smile of acknowledgement, 2 words, oh, you're looking brilliant today, or you did a great job today. That's all that is required. Human beings are social animals. We work on all these principles. So let's cultivate this habit of, you know, you're going to lose nothing by appreciating somebody else. We have this fear that, oh my God, if I appreciate somebody, maybe she will get a better position than me, or he will get a better position than me. Nothing like that will happen. Only it will improve the quality of work that we do. Again, connection, right? Connection goes down. Yeah, we missed out on the connection again. Now, you are a teacher. Like I started by telling, my salutes to every single teacher, every single administrator associated with students. Being a teacher is a huge responsibility, and from time immemorial, teachers are respected, are honored in a different way. You are a teacher and you can create your own self-portrait. Be that person who has left his autograph on the job that he has done. For years to come, children should remember you as a teacher who was different. Can I have teachers quickly writing down one teacher's name from their childhood who influenced them and why she influenced, so she influenced them. All of us have our favorite teachers. For me, I can share mine. Mine has been my kindergarten teacher. She was a Parsi woman, Mrs. Kajotia, who played the piano to us. And she was so loving and caring that after so many years of school also, I still miss that teacher. And I was a very young child, maybe just a 3-year-old child, who got influenced and inspired by a teacher who left an indelible mark on my future. I always looked up to her for being kind, polite, very accommodating with us and our demands. Those days we used to have, I'll just tell you a short anecdote on this. We used to have in those days a nap hour for kindergarten children. And I used to hate sleeping. So I used to cry a lot and I used to say, no, ma'am, I don't want to sleep. And I still remember that she would say, it's okay, don't sleep. Act like you're sleeping. I'll pick you up in 2 minutes after others fall asleep. She would bring me beside her. She would be correcting her the answer notes or the books or work that we had done. And she would allow me to happily put a tick if it was correct. Which means that even before I could actually dream of being a teacher, I had already started living a life of a teacher as a kindergarten. She made that big difference to my life. She inspired me to be a teacher. So you are a teacher, autograph your journey of excellence so that you remain remembered and in positive ways by your students and by your team of colleagues as well as your school. As teachers, we all make a difference. As workers, we make a difference anywhere in any field. But as teachers, we make a difference, and we make a difference in the lives of our children. Are we making that difference a positive one? Are we inspiring our children towards positivity? And when that difference, what is that difference that you have decided to make in the lives of your children? There are some teachers who leave such a huge impact. Do you want to be amongst them? And I'm sure each teacher should aspire to being amongst, or should have a competition with the other, that I should be remembered for my qualities, for my personality, for the work that I have done. And excellence, I always believe, is a journey. It's never a destination. If we feel that we are threading the path of excellence is all that we require. The moment I say I've arrived, I'm the most best, excellence has been achieved, I stop growing. And excellence is a habit in any organization. It should be cultivated. As a team, you should find ways and means of, exploring what should be the path of excellence that we should take to get the desired results in our school. You are doing a wonderful job. I've always seen your results. They've always been good, but always there's scope for improvement. There's always this keyword that growth is the only way ahead. The day I stop growing, I should cease living. I should stop myself from being seen around as a teacher. So let's continue on the path of excellence. Together, we shall and we will overcome all difficult situations. We're all together in this. We only learn from each other. Even today, I keep telling my teachers, sometimes when I walk into your classroom, I've learned a new way of handling a certain topic. Your way of doing it was very beautiful. There is nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong in continuing to learn. So let's continue this journey of having a growth mindset. And as leaders, we should commit ourselves to nurturing the growth mindset. Thank you so much for this opportunity, Ms. Priya. I would be open to a few questions from any of the staff. Say about 5 questions, probably up to 1:30. 5 to 10 questions, I don't mind taking. If anybody has any questions, I would definitely love to answer those questions. I have a few from the chat also. People have written. Yeah, they've written about teachers who have inspired them. Deeply appreciate certain teachers. And some have written thank you to me. Thank you so much. I know Mr. Rocky Miller. He's a nice, jolly good person. Whoever has written Rocky Miller. Yes, ma'am. Is there anybody who would like to ask any questions? Because if there are no questions, I would say it has neither been completely understood or it has been rejected completely, or you have understood everything. There's nothing. I was just talking my heart on what I believe as an educator. This is no hi-fi management. This is something that I have learned as a teacher. I started teaching I started handling grade 1. I was a PGT and I was given grade 1, but I accepted it with grace. And I handled teaching of Hindi, which was nowhere in my entire career. I have never done any Hindi teaching. I was myself a Hindi learner, and my principal said, no, you'll teach Hindi. So I took up teaching of Hindi to Malayali students, where I did not know a word of Malayalam. I did not know anything from the Malayalam background, but I taught English and Hindi to grade 1 and 2 students. So always don't feel demoralized when your bosses tell you, take this subject or take that subject or go 1 grade down. It's like the first thing that hits you is, oh my God, you have demotivated me, you have demoralized me. That's the big issue that happens with teaching. Teaching is teaching, whether you're teaching kindergarten children or you're guiding PhD students. Teaching still remains the same thing. You're influencing lives. So if you have any queries, I would deeply appreciate.
This is Rajlakshmi ma'am. I only wrote about Mr. Rocky Miller.
Okay.
Such an excellent lucky person. In my career, I met him even when I joined there in Align, first time my lesson plan or any activity, he will guide from the beginning till I resigned the job. Such a nice principal.
He handheld you to become who you are today.
Yeah, of course.
That's very nice. So, Mrs. Priya, do we have any questions or we stop here?
Teachers, do you have any questions?
You can see a lot of thank you. Thank you is not, it's good. It's good, but then if you have anything, you could always.
I think we don't have any questions, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
To say that they understood well,
Yeah, I would take this very positively that I have done a very good job. Thank you so much.
So before I conclude, I just want to say you have been the role model for all of us.
Thank you.
And recently we witnessed that in grade 12 result, I proudly say that your school, DPS-MIS, stood topper in the Middle East.
Thank you
So
so much.
we are really very happy and proud to say that. So no doubt that why we have chosen you as a facilitator for today. So on behalf of our management and all our teachers, we thank from bottom of our heart for sharing the tips with us and guiding us and encouraging us. Of course, we know that we are practicing this, but still it's kind of a recap for us to know more about it.
Always helps to, share good practices.
Yeah.
Always helps. And when you mentioned about the results, though it is the 7th year, I would still take a lot of pride in my inclusive education students. One of my students got a 97%, and I'm extremely proud that, a child with, she was hearing challenged, and in spite of it, she scored so well. So that's where I feel the strength lies. Also, the other thing that as a school, I always say my job as the principal becomes easy because I have a team that works very hard. I have a team that rocks. Touch wood, I always pride that it's the team that delivers. It's never the principal. The principal may be getting ideas in the head, but it's always the team that works, and it's a team that brings the difference. So I think as team members, you have 100 of them. They must be a wonderful team who's supporting you in a very, very daunting task of bringing, quality education to the doorsteps of every single child. So for me, I strongly believe as a human being that a leader is as good as the team. So if the team is good, it's taken care of. So I can see that you have so many wonderful team members who are with you, who are supporting you in the cause. So all the very best, teachers. Thank you for all the time that you have given me. God bless each of you, and all the very best for school reopening, whether it's offline, online, partially, whatever. The challenge is still on the teacher. The teacher still has to break her back for the partial teaching online, partial teaching offline. It's not going to be easy, and it doesn't seem to be ending so easily either. So all the very best to each one of you. Continue to work the way you work. God bless each one of you for being teachers. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot for joining
Welcome.
us. Thank you.